jubilations in the air, celebrations, political atmosphere in Nigeria is one that borders around the Supreme Court judgment or the ruling as at yesterday, where the Supreme Court had looked into the sustenance of local government autonomy, right? Giving to the local government the power to stand financially away from the clutches of the state governments. And yes, even though that may have been a ruling for local government autonomy, giving it a milestone significance, Nigeria's journey, for Nigeria's journey towards decentralization, democratization, and even grassroots development, there are some essential issues that also trail the discourse in this regard. It is also essential to ensure that local governments are empowered to fulfill their constitutional roles and deliver services effectively to their communities. That being said, we will be looking at this topical issue where it borders on Nigeria's local governments gain financial autonomy finally, right? That would be what we are looking at this morning, because a landmark decision by the Supreme Court has changed the entire, conversation right there surrounding these issues. Well, we would look into this, not by myself, because I'm not going to be alone to have this discourse, as I have very erudite and very well-spoken and intelligent resource persons. I would call them family members as well, who would be adding their voice in the discourse this morning as we look at all the, action, the intrigue, all of it, all of the sides to this topical issue this morning. We'll be having Barrister Ahmed Tanimu Abubakar, who is a public affairs analyst, a human rights activist and lawyer based in Abuja, as well as having our guest in the place of Right Honorable Daniel Tai. He's a social political activist and emancipator. And of course, he is an ICT expert and a political pathfinder for the masses of Nigeria. Let me say a very good morning to you, Right Honorable Daniel Tai. Welcome aboard to the discourse this morning.
Good morning, Uduak.
Right.
Good morning, audience.
Right. It feels good to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
Yeah. You were able to, against all odds, beat whatever it was, the traffic and everything. It does feel good. Thank you for stepping in. And yes, we will connect with Barrister Ahmed in a short bit to have his 2 cents. Of course, have him introduced properly, have his voice being heard as we go conversational. But first, let's dig into a little bit about this. I mean, local government autonomy has been in the pipeline for quite some time, and during the Buhari administration, there were efforts made, for that autonomy, but it didn't seem as though that was going to come to fruition. But for some reason, to the jubilation and expectation of Nigerians, the local government have been certified autonomous financially by the Supreme Court of Nigeria as of yesterday. What does that, bring to you?
Honestly, Uduak, I think this is the first time
right
in our democratic dispensations that we are getting it right.
Okay.
I think I'm so excited. I'm so happy because I served directly at the local level, the third tier of government.
Okay.
From 2017 to 2019 as a councillor of my ward. And I know the nitty-gritty and the bureaucracy between the local government and the Bureau for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs at the state level. So this Supreme Court judgment given autonomy, financial autonomy to local government under this administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And let me say the judiciary has done what I can describe as the indeed apex judgment, an epoch one. This is a history that they are making, and I would like them to sustain it with all legal frameworks, because we know these governors. And then the NFIU should now, beam their satellite and their searchlight such that there won't be any hanky-panky as regard this judgment from governors.
Right.
Because governors actually have made local government administrations to be appendages of their states. And now leaving the local government to rot. If you go to local government, earlier, I think in the first democratic dispensation and second, under Muhammadu President Shagari, and even this Buhari himself, the last dispensation, at his first take on the national level, we're practicing local government administration. 774 local government were functioning optimally. Development, you could see some of their let me say shanties of those infrastructural development that they enacted and executed at the local levels today, because they have gone dilapidated and comatose. But then when this Obasanjo time came, there was this governors forum that said that they want a law, since they are the one in charge of their local government. They want a law, and the 1999 constitution to be amended. That was when they started the amendment. And then we have local government joint account with state government, and by the constitution, just like the Supreme Court judgment stated, a local government chairman is a local government chairman under the third tier of government. A governor is a governor under the second tier of government. And the president is a president under the first tier of government. So you have 3 tiers of government. So why should one be an appendage to the other? And even financially, you take everything from them. So to me, I think President Tinubu and the Supreme Court just woke up from a deep sleep, and they have hit the ground running.
All right, they've hit the ground running. And there are also some others who believe that the president, through this, have indeed woken up from a slumber, supposedly. But let's get in view with the barrister himself, Barrister Ahmed Tanimu Abubakar. Welcome aboard, Barrister.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, and thank you to my guest analysts.
Right.
Thank you, Barrister.
Right. Well, good morning, and let's jump straight into it. Right. There's no news again. The fact that, as of yesterday, the Supreme Court had upheld that local governments should be autonomous financially from the state government. But then, even whilst we have, that ruling, there are some criticisms that have come saying that the ruling is an assault on true federalism, as it allows the federal governments to interfere with local government administration, which is a state responsibility, and that in a federal system there are only 2 tiers of government, federal and state, and the federal government should not meddle with local government. Still with that, there is also the talk about the tampering with allocations to joint local government accounts at the state level. But then there is also the belief that this does not justify the Supreme Court's ruling, which they seem to consider an overreach. How would you, assent your voice, in this regard? Do you think that ruling is indeed in line with the Constitution and constitutional provision, or do you think otherwise?
I align myself with the ruling. Unfortunately, the ruling is not enough. The issues of Nigerians resolving our issues all the time through the instrumentalities of the judiciary, if we continue in this path, we will make a mockery of our judicial system. We are expected as the ministers in the Temple of Justice to state facts the way they are. What is happening is that what we know and what we should do, we are not doing. We expect the judiciary now to do those things for us. There's no gainsaying that through federalism, we don't have it in Nigeria. What we have is the center being very powerful, and the states, the local governments are not in the equation. But if you look at it historically, abuses have been abound. Right now, I'm telling you, there's no single state house or of assembly in all the 36 states that is truly independent. They are not even rubber stamp. They are the thumbprints of the governor. They go to the governor, serve on a daily basis. They are the beck and call of the governor. So you see, there's already an assault on the notion of having true federalism.
Right.
And equally down to the local government administration. All the local governments in Nigeria, they don't have clear constitutional mandates and provisions. So what we have is they've been named and itemized in the constitution, but nothing was mentioned about the appointment, and he who plays the piper dictates the tune. That is given. So we all know is a given fact that all the local government administrators are imposed by governors on the people. They just sit down, write a list, and they return 99.9% of victory all the time, most of the time. It's a fact that we cannot hide about. So what we need to do is the essence of judgment. If a judgment is given as an indication that those in the legislature are now being mandated to now look at the lacuna that were identified, and they should give legal backing to the ruling or judgment, because the separation of power, judges and the judiciary don't make law. It's the legislature now that have the mandate and responsibility of making law. What they need to do is to abolish all the state electoral commission, and we should have a single entity like the INEC at the federal level to conduct free and fair or credible or semblance of credible election at the local government level, because we have seen the operation of the state various electoral commission, and what they do is that the governor will starve them of funding until the tail end of their until when election is about to be conducted, and funds will be released and they will be dictated upon to conduct the election in a certain way. So the judgment, for those that don't look at it and have not read it into what it implies, is that the court is confirming the fact that yes, allocation to the state government should go to the state government, but there are a lot of constitutional challenges to it. In the constitution, it provides for joint accounts between the state and the local government, and that is one of the areas where the state government using hijacking funds made available. And the most visible one is the one that is unwritten, that nobody wants to talk about it, even if we know that it exists. I have a lot of friends that are local government chairman. What happened is that the moment they receive allocation, they already have contractors that are working for the governors. They simply are directed to pay such contractors, so they don't have control over what happens in their various local governments. So this judgment will further strengthen this unwritten practice whereby the affairs of the various local government are surrendered to the governors, through the imposition, the fact that they were not actually elected to represent the people, rather they are imposed. Names are written, candidates elected and imposed on the people. So those candidates will naturally continue to do the bidding. Any attempt to even modify the constitution to grant real powers to local government will be resisted by the current state houses of assembly. So constitutional amendment is required, but I think it's almost impossible unless the federal government and the general public would make concerted effort towards making this a reality. We should now be thinking of the legislature, although now they are busy discussing other things that don't really concern the general populace. This is the best time for electoral reform. This is the best time for constitutional amendment to include issues of having referendum, whereby on critical issues such as this, we should not leave it to the various state houses of assembly, but rather the Nigerian people as individuals. We have the capacity. The referendum can be conducted on any major issue. Issues such as the true local government autonomy, whereby the tenure of local government chairmen will be spelled out. The supervision and control of local government chairmen will be clearly spelled out in the constitution. There's no gainsaying that true federalism is between the state and the local government. But when you don't allow the local governments to function, then the federal government needs to intervene, and the intervention can be through the instrumentality of having a clause for referendum in our constitution.
All right. Well, thank you. Well said. I mean, Right Honorable,
Yes.
you've heard the barrister there.
Yeah, there is a conflict of constitutional framework there. I do not think that the legislation could stop this judgment. You know why?
Why, please?
I've been a legislator. The function of the legislature is to do what? Make laws. The laws that have been made 1979 in the Constitution, amended in 1999, the angle that only merged state and local government together was the area of joint account.
Okay.
That is joint account allocation. And the joint account allocation did not say that the state government should take the fund of the local government. If we have a joint account, we are partnering.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean that you should have a lion's share.
Right.
Your money is spelled out by the fiscal allocation, revenue allocation, and mobilization. You understand? Your money as a state governor and state government is rightly spelled out explicitly. So mine is spelled out explicitly. I am not supposed to take your money. You are not supposed to take my money. You get me? So that doesn't mean that there is a marriage, because in true federalism, only state and federal. It is not actually correct.
Okay.
He's a lawyer. I'm not a constitutional lawyer.
Right.
But I know that the Supreme Court, or the judiciary, the Supreme Court is the apex of law interpretation, legislative interpretation. And if they have looked at it critically and say, look, the local government is a tier by law, by constitution, like I said, is an entity. It's not an appendage. So the governors have, in fact, the governors are supposed to be made to compensate for all that they have been doing, the money that they have been corruptly embezzling, leaving the local government to be in a quagmire of dilapidated state, back to the local government. If I were the Supreme Court justice and judges that executed, that issued those judges, I would tell the governors to compensate in billions, because the marriage does not mean that you take my money.
Right.
We have different entities. So if the Supreme Court have interpreted that a local government is a tier and the chairman is a chairman, I know what they need, which is ongoing now. I think that motion was passed first reading last year already, was moved by Senator Comrade Moro. Both the local government financial autonomy and local government political autonomy. When we say political autonomy, we've been hammering on these things,
okay,
right from the other radio stations. We've been talking about these things on television everywhere, that state independent electoral commissions are not supposed to conduct local government elections. SIEC are not supposed to conduct local government elections because the governors always usurp their powers. And you could imagine an institution like electoral umpire completely, have no say over etiquette, have no say over righteousness, have no say over right, over constitutional provisions upon them to conduct free, fair, and credible elections. And a governor who is an executive will usurp their complete powers in the constitution. So is the INEC or the SIEC now a local government, for instance? But the governors also usurp their powers. What about the INEC, the Independent Electoral Commission? Are they not an entity to conducting elections? But the president and the parties that be usurp, exert so much powers on them. It is because these people don't want to stand up for their right, to stand up and say, let's speak to power. This is my jurisdiction, man.
So do you think we're standing up right now?
Yes, that is what the Supreme Court is now trying to give us. A look, this power belongs to you, local government. It belongs to you. Stand up. For henceforth, there is no marriage, no appendages between local government and state government. What you have now in the joint account will completely be separated. If I leave you in the partnership, are you supposed to have my account? if we are partnering, we have registered a company.
Right.
You understand? Before the what do you call it? This corporate affairs.
Okay, corporate, okay.
If we register a company between me and you with the corporate affairs, does that give you the power to take my money? If we separate, the company will dissolve it, isn't it? Right. So the account, that is, if you go through the judgment from the judges yesterday, you will discover that they have said it, spelled it out. There is nothing like marriage. And I'm sure very soon, in no distant time, even in less than 1 month, we'll beg the National Assembly, the both arms of the National Assembly, and also the judiciary again, and the president with his political will that he has just exerted on this, to please grant local government political autonomy. Let INEC conduct elections at the state level and the local government level. Let it not be SEC. Let it not be state independent, because they are not independent.
All right.
They are not independent
Right.
at all.
Well, the Supreme Court ruling is hinged on Section 7 of 1. There shall be a system of local government by democratically elected local government
Yes.
councils,
Yes.
right? It establishes the importance of democratic governance at the local level and implies autonomy for local governments, right? Section 7(6)(a) and (b), the National Assembly shall make provisions for A, the establishment of a commission for the purpose of supervising the affairs of local government councils, and B, the allocation of public revenue to local government councils, right? I'm saying this to you, Barrister Ahmed, so you can give us a little quick interpretation, for all of these. Section 1623, any amount standing to the credit of the Federation account shall be distributed among the Federation and the states based on such formula as the National Assembly may prescribe. And Section 1625, the amount standing to the credit of the Federation account shall be distributed among the states and local government councils in such proportion as may be prescribed by the National Assembly. Your 2 cents on this.
Okay, the constitution is very clear. Even before now, we have never have a paucity of laws to regulate the activities of local government. As the Honorable rightly pointed out, in 1999, we want to narrow ourselves down. We don't even want to go too far. We have a semblance of local government chairmen in place, because some of them were elected credibly by the people. The challenge we are having now, as it is now, if God gives a ruling, there's another angle to it. You have to be able to enforce the judgment. If you have a judgment against sorry to use somebody like maybe Nnamdi Kanu, and you cannot enforce the judgment will appear to be worthless until you are able to give effect to the judgment. Right. We applaud the judgment. We know that the relevant law which you cited are there. The operation is what is the problem. We are putting the cart before the horse. As it is, as at today, all the local government chairmen, you cannot mention one that is not imposed by the governor. What they do, I'm telling you this for free, what they do is that if they receive allocation, it is not even the governor that is asking them to bring. On their own volition, based on the fact that they were imposed, they will be the one to sign out contracts to favorable companies or companies that have ties with the governors. They will be the one to execute projects that have been directed by the Commissioner of Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, which is the most lucrative commissioner in among all the commissioners in every state. We all know that. So the problem is not about having a favorable ruling or judgment, it's how you'll be able to implement it. And if we want to implement it, we all know the procedure. The procedure is to amend the constitution. You
I think, Barrister, are you getting me? Now, I think the issue, the last administration of President Muhammadu Buhari have given that complete executive order to the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit. I don't think there is anything in the constitution to be amended as regards this judgment. The judgment
not to be amended. Sorry to cut you. The powers are there, even without all the executive order, the interpretation of the court. It's just that in reality, I have friends that are local government chairmen. Some even tell me that they barely receive 2 million on a monthly basis. The other monies, they just have some for their and they return back to their godfathers that imposed them. They don't do anything. You can barely mention of a council in any state that are not imposed. So until you remove the physical imposition, you might have all the enabling laws to tell you do this, do this, do this. But the reality is that the process that they got into office is what we are talking about. If you do not have credible election at local government level, then the local government chairman will just be an appendage. Even an appendage, even on our statement, they will just be the voice of the governor. Is what the governor and his commissioner of local government and chieftaincy affairs dictate. I'm telling you, some are their level of independence is no more than, in terms of the resources they control, is no more than 2 million every month. Anything outside that, there is the power that will dictate to them all the allocation that based on budgetary approval and the rest, all the allocation in records, if you reach the local government account, as it's hitting it, is moving elsewhere. So this is what the target should be: how to stop the diversion of local government allocation, how to ensure that the election actually takes place. Yes, so unless we guarantee that there will be credible election at local government level, there will be credible election even at the various state houses of assembly. You can really do so little. You can really, if you look at it, why did they go to court when President Muhammadu Buhari gave an executive order? A lot of people that don't understand how the operationality of how local government works. We all celebrated and nothing came out of it. Now they've gone to court. We are all celebrating. I assure you, nothing will come out of it unless we go for the real issue. The real issue is you amend the constitution so that you now state it that every local government chairman shall be entitled to stay in office for 4 years, for a single term of 7 years. Clearly mention out. The issue of a state conducting election should be completely abrogated, and you should have it that INEC at the federal level should conduct election and they go for all local governments, so that you now have an APC state governor, and you now have a PDP local government chairman. He knows that it's the people that brought him there. He's accountable. He will not be tempted or intimidated into taking these local government resources and willingly hand it over to the agents of the government.
Yeah, Barrister Ahmed, you've spoken, comprehensively. But we'll just go on a breather. When we come back, of course, I would like you to also flesh out the idea where the Supreme Court had ruling in favor of financial autonomy for local governments. Some states may not receive allocations for their local governments.
The point I'm trying to drive.
Okay, we're going to get back to that, but let's just go get a breather. We'll be right back in a short bit. This is Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Keep it locked.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Get on board the weekend drive with the queen of the mic, Dell. Every Saturday and Sunday, 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Your radio experience you can count on.
Your number one radio experience you can count on. Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
My people, the thing where they happen for my area,
Do you think I will now find out that you have contract to bring fresh girls?
I brought you from the gutters. Who gave you all the connects? MDG, who? Without me, you would have been nobody. But
Join Media Coalition and Awareness to Halt Human Trafficking, MICAT, on I Wish I Knew radio drama every Saturday at 10 a.m. Let us join hands and kick human trafficking out of our communities. I Wish I Knew radio drama, brought to you by MICAT in partnership with the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, and funded by the Embassy of Denmark in Nigeria.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
I suppose it was inevitable.
Eagles 102.3.
the discourse is still ongoing right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. And yes, we're still talking about the victory that's been given to the local government, autonomy, of course, that is, by the Supreme Court ruling as at yesterday. We still have our guests who are in the studio and talking about Barrister Ahmed Tanimu Abubakar joining us via phone call, as well as the Right Honorable Dan Atayi. Well, of course, we've seen it already. I mean, there's been some talks about some local governments that may not benefit from this, what's going on in terms of the ruling. Well, let me start with the Right Honorable. Right Honorable, what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, it was clearly spelled out yesterday by the Supreme Court. There are states that are running caretaker chairmanship, caretaker administration, just like they were running sole administrators.
Yeah.
To mount the various local government. I think currently we have about 21 states out of the 36 states running caretakership.
That's right.
And running that caretakership, it is even where they have more powers to do, or the governors have more powers to put their puppets, puppet and their lapdogs to mount local government and bring local government funds to them. There is nothing actually happening at the local government levels under this kind of leadership, because it is completely against democratic laws and rulings. One, the caretaker chairmen are not elected, and then they are acting as if they are executive chairpersons. Executive chairpersons are people vested with the votes of the people, the votes of the electorate. That look, we have elected you and we have vested the authorities and our complete mandate upon you to lead us.
Right.
And to make sure development strives at the rural areas. But alas, the state governors, instead of them to conduct, even if it is SIEC Electoral Commission, if it is state to conduct elections, we know that governors too, even when INEC conduct elections, governors bring their stooges, bring their godsons to lead. But when a godson gets into the seat there, and this kind of constitutional framework interpreted by the Supreme Court yesterday, that look, local government, you are autonomous. So state governors that you bring as your godsons, they know that within the law, they have this power to lead the state, and you should not, as a godfather, interfere.
Right.
There is a boundary to which you can go as a godfather. So even if you are a sitting governor, so long as the Supreme Court have said, look, the governor, the local government chairmen are to what? Execute governance in their various local government. Any chairman that wants to be foolish, since the law have empowered him or her, if you want to be foolish, the EFCC, the NFIU, the ICPC will come for you. Right. There will be public petitions everywhere. A citizen of the local government or an indigenous have the right to even create a petition with facts and figures and take to EFCC, take to ICPC. In fact, you do not have any immunity. So the law will come for you. I see this judgment as a breaking record.
All right, a breaking record, he says. Barrister, based on the ruling in favor of financial autonomy for local governments right there are some perks to it. Would you agree with the Right Honorable in this regard, as some states may not receive allocations from FAC due to some reasons, which include failure to conduct elections for local government councils, lack of democratically elected local government councils, non-compliance with the financial autonomy granted to local governments. What's your take on this?
The truth of the matter is that we cannot look at it from you have to look at, for you to get a clearer perspective, you have to look at it from a holistic point of view.
Okay, let's get
holistic in the sense that the administration of local government itself is what is the problem. If you go to any local government that basically at the moment you are practically not doing anything apart from issuing indigenization. For those that have a land registry, it's barely working. Then the local government chairman always come back around 20th, 26th, down to 30th, and after that you will never see them in their offices. they are in training, the fact still remains the same. The judge, we couldn't have used the court to determine how elections and electoral processes will be conducted in the local government. What we are saying is that we applaud the Supreme Court.
Okay.
What they are saying is right, but in the reality, you don't even have the option of choosing to be foolish as a local government chairman, or you are already being dictated upon. It's like you appointing somebody that you know you can easily remove, because in the first instance he was not elected. Okay. It was just, his name was just taken. He didn't go any through proper democratic processes. His survival is entirely tied to you as a governor. So you dictate to him, this is who you award contract that has no bearing on the people, contract that is a complete clear-cut elephant project, and he will be forced to do it, and he will be forced to use his hands. It's not the state now. He will be allocated his. They've always been giving their money. So all those allocations on the
Barrister, sir.
To them.
Barrister, sir.
I'm with you.
Yeah, right now there is no money from the federal allocation that is going to states that are running local government caretakership administrations, because it is only going to be elected. And even if the state INEC Electoral Commission is able to conduct election and the state governor imposes stooges or his godsons to mount the various local government while we wait for the legislation at the National Assembly right now. I know it was moved by Senator Morrow. Is on the right now. I think it has passed first reading and second reading.
All the states need to adopt it.
Yes.
In a constitutional matter, they need all the states assembly.
All the states will adopt it because of the political will. The political will of this president to doing this thing is 100%. That is what we are seeing.
I don't want to mention a state, but there are some states that this same law were taken to them in the past. The state House of Assembly, almost 99% voted in against local government autonomy. States, I don't want to mention the state, but states in this country, they voted against it because that is what we know. The governors
at that time, it was at that time the Supreme Court has not. In fact, it has not gotten to the Supreme Court. They took the case, the governors themselves took the case to the Supreme Court. And now it is the same Supreme Court that have given this verdict.
All right. Well, the Professor Soludo of I think Anambra State right there said that it was a great idea. After meeting with the president right there, he came out to saying that, well, the governors will meet and they will have deliberations in this. But then let's get to hear from us Nigerians. Let's hear from Nigerians and know what is going on. Yes, you can pick up your phone calls now and have that conversation with us. Please don't call the WhatsApp portal number, call the studio number, and please send a message and not a voice note, so it will be read. This is a time for you to have your voice in the discourse. Do you think that this will indeed allow for the improvement of infrastructural development within the grassroots? 0907-353-0044 is that number to call. The other number is 0908-766-8888, and the WhatsApp portal number is 0909-705-4450. Taking this call right now. Hello and good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you, please.
Yeah, that's a good talk. Thank you for the Utu Akabi.
Yes,
thank you for the job and even your callers. Right. My name is KGB.
All right.
You see,
where are you calling from? Where are you calling from?
I don't know. I'm in Abuja much.
Where in Abuja are you calling from?
I'm in Abuja, life camp, so to say.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, but see, my brother, remember the word of Bob Marley. You can fool some people sometimes, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. You see this very going to court for the first instance is absolutely wrong. It came from the background of deceit and cajoling that the present administration is using on real Nigerians. Because I don't think we have 3 tiers of governance, or government, so to say. Then, which have already set up by the Constitution. Then, before you know it, one part of them, then governor, gang themselves up, and the only thing is that start spending local government money. See, to me, I don't think there is any thank you to Mr. President of going. Why, for the first instance, why going to court? For what? When it is already spent out. What Mr. President I'm going to what
go
Mr.
straight to it because
done?
we don't have the time. Just go straight to the thing.
So, on the human, that judgment is this. See, the government, I'm calling on human rights lawyers and the activists to go and go to court, compare from 1999 of Obasanjo to date. All the governors that have pocketed government, local government money should be taken to, should be proved.
Honestly.
All the governors to date should be proved. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much right there. It says all the governors from 1999 should be probed. Go get them already. The number is still open. It's time to hear from you already. But let's get onto the WhatsApp portal and just see what message would be via the WhatsApp right there, because we try to see how we can take everybody along. I see this one now, right here and right now. It says, greetings, UD, and welcome back. Okay, greetings. God bless you for the good work. Okay, bless you more. Now let's get into it. It says, Samuel is my name from Kuje, all right? It says, for some governors to have hijacked local government for many years, with the Supreme Court judgments, they will find it very difficult to hijack the local government resources as they have been doing, though some of them are not happy with the judgment. Nigerians, especially in the local government areas, should hold any local government chairman accountable. Now, if they fail to deliver, National Assembly should back the local government with the relevant laws that will make it possible for governors to interfere with make it impossible rather for governors to interfere with the governance in the local governments. Thank you. All right, he says, my brother UD. We should take one more call and then we'll get back with our guest. Hello, good morning.
How are you?
Fine, thank you, BB.
You
Welcome
are
aboard.
happy for the judgment. BB Blessing is happy for the judgment.
Okay.
So how the money go take channel, I will not know, because who be the government now? Now the Senate of the CB, our government. Now, with the voice our voice come out now, if you're a government, you have our senator that buy the money for other places, we will hold them responsible, make you to come out. Now we see open mouth, we not go keep quiet. Because the people when they sit there for that position, now they say our government, our governor, that they appoint that people for there. It could be our elderly people. We not go come out before you know that they go use money, bribe the elderly people. Who be the government? Not be me and you be the government. Where we now we go say see first what we need. We go rule us. But they don't agree. That's why they're not listen for us. Now we agree for the judgment way court to do. If they do like this, government will not go they talk. We not go they waste our energy. But now our president don't start well. May God bless her. Not be to even appoint. May he go they check our place. He couldn't my village. May he go check whether they are there do well, whether the position that they do away all the money if they channel to the right person. We're supposed to channel to.
Okay,
not because they go to buy the money.
Right,
God will bless you. Me, I appreciate for the judgment. God bless you, yeah?
Quickly now, good morning once again, Mr. UND. Okay, good morning. My name is Honorable Edward from Apo. Honorable welcome. Our guests are doing perfectly well this morning and extend my greetings to them. I'm still in the celebration mood because of the Supreme Court's ruling yesterday about the autonomy of the local government. We have been saying this year and almost on daily basis, and we have finally gotten a president that is listening to us. National Assembly should do the needful by amending our constitution to enable INEC to conduct local government elections. The EFCC ICPC should also put enough severance to checkmate the activities of the implementation of this local government autonomy. Federal government should withhold immediately local government allocation to the following state until the local government elections is conducted in those states. Well, yes, you said the affected states are Anambra State, Rivers State, Jigawa State, Imo State, Kwara State, Zamfara State, Benue State, Bauchi State, Plateau State, Abia State, Enugu State, Katsina State, Kano State, Sokoto State, Yobe State, Ondo State, Osun State, I guess, Delta State, Akwa Ibom State, wow, and even Cross River State. So thank you and God bless all Eagles FM family.
He mentioned 20, but there are 21 now.
There are 21, of course. There are 21 states, actually. Well, Barrister Ahmed.
Thank you.
Are you there, Barrister? Yeah,
I'm here with you.
Okay, Barrister, you hear what Nigerians are saying. The caller had said that look, this is not even enough. We should go back from 1999, from the Obasanjo time, and get all of those governors who've been complicit in this regard to make refunds. What are your thoughts on this? And do you also think?
My thought is this: it will be shocking to a lot of us to know. Almost all the local government chairmen have been petitioned to ICPC and AFCC for one allegation over the other, but I can assure you most of the investigation equally went under the carpet. Nigerians forget easily. We tend to disregard the climb that we operate, where it appears everybody is corrupt.
Exactly.
So when you have corruption that is going on at every facet, investigations will not see the light of the day.
Right.
People will not be prosecuted. So all these suggestions, they are already there. It's the implementation that will remain a challenge until the constitution. That is why for those that are not celebrating, I can appreciate and understand why they are not celebrating, because they are now being able to see through that this is just a challenge. The real action is when you will be proud to say you elect a local government chairman, and that chairman knows that it's not the governor that imposed him. Then financial autonomy will now mean a lot to the people. But for now, financial autonomy means that it will still get to the same route. Monies will be allocated to those that even have elected local government chairmen. Those local governments, by their hands, if they are not, if the imposition is not averted, by their hands, they will do the biddings of their governors. That is how it has always been.
All right, Barrister. Let's just take these messages, and then, of course, you put a cap on it. We'll have allowed the Right Honourable put a cap on it as we draw a close on this. Good morning, UD. I disagree with your guest, Barrister. He is just explaining what we already know, and this the mischief that the Supreme Court judgment has just cured. The reality on ground is the local government financial authority has been granted by the Supreme Court, and there is no hindrance for its execution that will require the enactment of any fresh law for effective execution of the judgment as suggested by the barrister. What remains now is to have free and fair election into the councils, and INEC is in the position to do that. I agree totally with the submissions of Honorable in the studio. Yusuf will say to Alrighty, you're sending that one. This one says, good morning, my name is Ezele Egbu. I'd like to commend Mr. President for the political will in getting the Supreme Courts to make the pronouncement. However, INEC, not states, should conduct election to LGAs. It's a landmark judgment. EFCC must put structure in place to monitor the use of local government funds. All right, I don't know. More messages just coming in now. Why is it coming now so late? Good morning, gentle UD. Good morning to the guest in the studio. Thanks for the job. Yunusa Denton Ibrahim from Abaji. The guest in the studio said he was sometimes a councillor in local government area council. Please, local government chairman should be addressed to use the resources well. Development should go to both rural and urban areas. Salaries should be paid in accordance with the rules. Yunus Dantani right there. You're saying that, Ibrahim. Right. And then finally, of course, the James from Suleja says the Supreme Court's ruling is a good one. Another most important aspect to this should also be the process of these local government elections. If these governors can still hijack and put their stooges in place, would giving financial autonomy to the local government amount to anything? Will state electoral commissions be trusted? All right,
honestly,
Right Honourable,
honestly,
it's on you now. It's on you too.
You see, if
as quickly as you can,
the
please.
President,
yes,
I just pray the president, since the National Assembly, they're all working together.
Right.
They should speed up. We want to see a better country.
Okay.
In the 21st century is a global world in our palm. What we are seeing on our phones, abroad, everywhere, we want to see those things here.
Okay, look
at the development that is going on in the FCT now. What Wike is doing. We are seeing it. We know that Wike talk too much, but he's doing great job. Let all the states of the federation do as Wike is doing. You understand? Implement, execute. Let the local government chairman begin to execute now. Infrastructural development and social amenities.
Right.
It is critical now, very, very critical, necessary. I want to see a democracy where